Hello survivors, welcome back to another video. How are you today, guys? Let me know in the comments. Guys, today we are gonna answer the question: should I upgrade my HQ to Plasma 6, Plasma 7, 8, or should I unlock my T11s? Because there are like controversies with this decision. Some people think that it is better to go up in HQ. Other people think that it is better to unlock your T11. So I'm gonna give you my take on this. One more time, I'm not saying that I'm 100% right, but I'm just giving my opinion based on what I see playing the game, where I'm attacking other people, when I'm defending attacks. And believe me, I'm defending a lot of attacks during state versus state. I'm attacking a lot of people during state versus state. I also check the battle reports in the Alliance Showdown and the past event, the arena as well. It gives you the opportunity to compare a lot of stuff. For example, how much damage you could do with certain heroes, how much damage you could do if that player had just Plasma 6 and a player with similar stats had Plasma 5 but with T11s. Could you win the battle with that player having T11s? Could you win the battle with that player having Plasma 6 and not T11s? I gathered all that data. I'm gonna give you my opinion, of course. And I didn't put this in Excels and make calculations. No, it's just observation, So yeah, let's see the argument. For example, for people saying that no, you have to just upgrade your HQ, forget about Plasma to unlock your T11s. The main argument, for that point is the following. You save more resources, wood, tomatoes, metal, and gas, because upgrading your T11s or from T10 to T11s, it costs a lot of resources. Yeah, that's true. And the other argument is well, it costs less plasma. So yeah, you can go up quicker in level, for example, HQ level, rather than waiting to unlock your T11s. Now, those are the main arguments that I always hear. So if you have another argument that you have heard, just let me know, comment down below, and maybe I address that in another video. And when I see those arguments, guys, those arguments are not that strong for me, because you are just talking about not necessarily what is gonna make you a stronger player or a better player. You are talking about what is gonna cost less. And remember, what is gonna cost less is always what is gonna give you the less advantage when you are fighting other people. So if you ask me the question what do you prefer, Mike? Do you want to upgrade your HQ to Plasma 6 or do you want to unlock T11s? I prefer to unlock T11s. So let's address the resources part. Guys, once you unlock T11s, for example, you are gonna have the ability to push through troops better than let's say having Plasma 6. Yeah. Having T11s, if you fight them against Plasma 6, T11s are gonna win the battle all the time. I don't need to pull up numbers with this. If you guys did the arena, you realize this just by playing. Look in my alliance, I have a lot of Plasma 6, and they are mostly free-to-play players or low spenders. I can beat them. Seriously, I don't have any problem. For example, Foebe, she's Plasma 6. She has better stats than me. In some stats, I can beat her, and she has Plasma 6 troops. I can beat Lorraine, she's Plasma 6, and I don't have any problem beating her. I can beat Livy, Plasma 6, I don't have any problem beating it. Now, if I'm fighting a player which is not Plasma 6, but that player is Plasma 5, and I still have an advantage in stats, but that player has T11s, I cannot beat that player. That happened over and over and over and over when I was doing the arena. It happens a lot during the state versus state, and it happens a lot during reservoir race. So I don't need to pull out numbers. I think, guys, that you also don't need to pull out numbers because, for example, the reports that you were sharing in my Discord channel were that you were beating Plasma 6, even Plasma 7 troops you were beating, but you barely showed reports you beating a T11s. You barely see those reports unless that player is not sending a good amount of infantry or that player is just sending a weird formation which is way weaker than the one you have. If you have a super better stats, yeah, you can beat that T11, that player with T11s. But if you are like closing stats, that player is gonna beat you all day with T11. So even if you have better stats, just by a little bit. So guys, just by playing the game, you're gonna realize that you having more T11s or having T11s is gonna make you a stronger player. Not only when fighting other people, but when defending attacks and when joining rallies. For example, if you are an alliance which is fighting for capital or for like state versus state, you need more T11s in those rallies. So that's gonna help your alliance big time as well. Yeah, it takes more resources, but because you're gonna be able to push through troops when you are hunting during a state versus state, that I hope that you are hunting, you are gonna be able to hunt people and to get a lot of resources. No, but that's mean, Mike, because then you are plundering other people and they are gonna quit the game. A state versus state is one among, guys. So if you don't have the time to bubble during that specific day, probably you are inactive, you are not playing enough. And if I don't do that, other players are gonna do that to you because you are not caring about the game anymore. So you are just holding a lot of resources there that are gonna benefit other players which are super active and are looking for resources. So what I will do is just to go harder during a state versus state and plunder people and just gather as much as I can. So I guess that if you are like going harder during a state versus state kill event, or maybe a state versus state kill event so you don't attack your own state, which is good, okay, understandable. But if you go harder during a state versus state, then you can plunder a lot of resources and you are not gonna have resources problems. And if you do that on the top of gathering, then believe me, you are not gonna have problems. And if you have problems, at least you will have problems once you will have like a lot of T11. So that argument that, yeah, it costs less resources, for me, no, it's not strong enough. The other argument, like, well, but it costs less plasma to upgrade your HQ, your troop, blah, 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 and you're still gonna be stronger with plasma 6. That's true, yeah, but not as strong as if you have plasma 10. And yeah, it costs more plasma because in this game, what costs more, do more. For example, yeah, it costs more to upgrade your last tier of the infantry hero gear, for example. The normal one is 3,000 hero gear par, then 6,000, then 13,000. Yeah, it's gonna cost you more because it gives you better advantage. So it's the same with plasma, with T11s. It costs you more. Yeah, there are scamming people with this cost, of course, we agree on that. But it gives you better advantage. So if you are gonna be stronger having T11s, I don't care if it costs more in terms of plasma, in terms of resources. I'm just gonna save plasma, just gonna save resources, and then once I unlock my T11s, of course, I'm gonna be stronger. Now, what I recommend you is the following. You can have a balance between this, you know, because you can unlock your T11s infantry and then decide to go to your T11s riders or hunters. Well, you can balance it out, you know, so you unlock your T11s infantry and then you unlock your plasma 6 troops, and then you go to move to unlock your hunter, and then you unlock to plasma 7, and so on and so forth. So if you ask me the question what's better, based on what I have been seeing a lot attacking other players, and especially guys during the arena, that you have the opportunity to really compare and choose and see what the other player have and just send marches and stuff. So yeah, for me it was very difficult. I could barely beat players with T11s, but what that player, you know, had like plasma 6, 7s, and I was above just for a little bit in stats, I could beat that player easily. Sometimes I even have 3 arrows above in infantry with one player, and that player had T11s, I couldn't even beat that player. So yeah, T11s for me are super important. The resources argument, you can just hunt more, as I told you, gather more. If you are not being efficient at gathering. And with the plasma thing, yeah, it costs more, but yeah, you also get more benefits. So yeah, what should you do to go up with T11s or with plasma 6? T11 all the way. The other thing, guys, is remember, this game is always advancing. So if they, you know, put in their mind, I'm talking they, the people working for a state of survival, that they're gonna release T12, what are you gonna do? Those plasma 6 T10 are not gonna do anything. You are just gonna be, especially even if you have a lot of troops, you are gonna be in danger because you have been falling behind with the troop tier. For example, it's like I'm focusing on upgrading my guerrillas, and then the last troop, for example, which is available, is the Maulers, and the developers come with the idea of releasing the Executioners. So you are 2 tiers in troops behind. If they attack you with T10 and you have like T8, guys, they can send you a march. You can have like 3 million troops and they're gonna burn you. So you also have to have precautions, because if they release T12 and you just have T10, this is gonna be a massacre, guys. When they release a state versus state with T12 in the future and you still are like with T10 super behind, look at, you will have to play super smart, bubbling, and then when joining rallies, making sure that you are reinforced, because an attack from a max spender with T12, if they release it and you have T10s, and especially if they are like super better in stats, it's gonna do some damage. So you better upgrade. For example, for my case, I better upgrade to T10, to T11, sorry. And then if they release T12, I just 1 tier behind. So I just have to work harder to get to the T12, but not the other way. Like I'm still with T10s and then they release T12s. No. For me, no. So yeah. And that's my opinion, guys. That's my opinion. So let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy.